Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo and I'm recording this video for Nathan Alvarez, who is a patron of mine, and at a certain tier, he can request a video of me, and he can ask me to do just about anything in this video, since it is for him to do with whatever he pleases. And he asked me to talk about what I believe is the next step for mobile devices, specifically smartphones. He notes, it seems like we've taken the technology as far as it'll go in mobile phones, but I'd love to hear if you agree or disagree and why. And I'm sitting here in front of two radically different devices, though they operate in the same space, an iPhone and a Google Nexus product running Android. And yeah, you know, the average consumer is going to look at these two products and go, what's the difference? I mean, they have similar types of apps. They have similar types of features on the cameras themselves. I mean, for all intents and purposes, they're the same thing. So what differentiates one from the other? Well, it's usually tied into services, software, support, and general experience. But even then, it just kind of blends together in a consumer's mindset. The problem I see with smartphones is, well, there are many problems I see, but one, they're still invasive devices. We have to remember to charge them, or we have to connect some kind of external battery. So one solution that I see coming down the pike might be in the form of wireless electricity. That is a possibility, and it may very well happen in my lifetime. But the idea that we have to tether these to some kind of power source at any point in time just makes it a very invasive process. So I would imagine that at some point there will be a development wherein I never have to worry about battery on a device itself. And if you don't have to worry about battery, well, then you don't have to worry about being charged. You can always be constantly connected to the world around you. At which point, the question then comes, as my smartphone notifies me that I have another message. It's another problem, right? I've got to pick up the device, I've got to find the device, and I got to look at it, right? To me, the future of smartphones is not in... Hang on, let me mute this. Usually I have my devices muted. Otherwise, this room would be a veritable orchestra. I just happen to have this unmuted because I was actually using the phone to talk to someone. You know, like the way we used to use phones to actually communicate with people. I use my phone for everything but talking, like with my voice to other people, unless I absolutely need to. Though, the issue, as you saw there, is I had to pick up the phone, I had to look at it. Well, what am I wearing on my face? Glasses, frames. And now, just within the last 2 days or so, it's been seen that Google has patented the ability to have a camera embedded inside an actual contact lens. Now, I'm not the type of person who would ever put in a contact lens. I tried it in high school. It's never going to happen. I don't want to stick anything in my eyes. I'm a fan of these types of devices, this type of technology. And the future of the smartphone is that the smartphone just completely disappears. We don't need this. We are tethered to our phone, much like we are tethered to a power connection or a power source to keep those phones charged. And it's still very invasive. I'm wearing glasses anyway, but even for someone who isn't wearing glasses, I think the idea of projecting that type of experience in a virtual sense, I think that's the future. I don't think smartphones have much of a future. I really don't. I mean, they're a passing fad, much like PCs are still valuable for certain reasons. For example, I'm using a computer a traditional PC, a traditional computer, you know, desktop machine to record this particular video. But I could have also used my smartphone if I wanted to. I didn't want to. I wanted to use this. So I have that choice. But I wouldn't have necessarily needed to buy the computer to have that type of experience. It could have been handled here, and at some point in the future, it could be handled in a device that doesn't necessarily exist right now. I think Google is right in moving down the path of what they're doing with Google Glass, you know, this not real augmented reality, but this wearable computing system that's not as invasive as our current system. And let's face it, why would I need to pick up a phone to get that notification when I could see that notification somewhere in my glasses? Or better yet, reply. You know, look at it for 5 seconds, or, you know, look at a certain point on the virtual screen and actually reply to it. I mean, the interactivity, as long as it works well, you know, would work better than what we have today in these types of devices. Smartphones aren't going to be around forever, honestly. I think we're going to be seeing more wearable computing replacing these types of computing devices. I think they'll always have a place, but we just haven't begun to see a replacement or a viable replacement for a smartphone, much like at one point in time we didn't see a viable replacement for a traditional PC. But as technology marches on, technology becomes far less invasive than it is today, and so the future of smartphones isn't.